Double Special Heroes banner is back again, and this one brings some pretty neat things. If you're not familiar, this special banner is similar to our monthly legendary and mythic banners. You have a starting 6% 5-star focus rate, and the non-focus 5-star rate is set to 0% permanently. That means any 5 stars you pull are guaranteed to be one of the 8 units featured. The main attraction of this banner is that all 8 units are seasonal limited time units. Maybe you missed them on the first go around, and this is your second chance to get them before waiting till next year's reruns. In this video, we'll be covering all 8 units briefly while discussing their skills available to inherit. These Double Special Heroes banners tend to have really good fodder skills, but do be wary of future upcoming banners as well. At the end of this video, I will be talking about the June and July event calendar because we're heading into summer, and if you've played a gacha game, you know what that means. So a new feature for these Double Special Heroes banners is that 4-star focus units seem to retain their status. For example, this time Conrad is back and he is once again going to be a 4-star focus unit, so he should be easier to get even if he is color sharing. At the very least, if you do get pity broken, you know what you are getting. Now this is a rather big detail to keep in mind moving forward. Maybe you have a 4-star focus unit with a ton of copies, but you missed out on the plus 10. For the most part, the fun seasonal units chosen to be the 4-star focus are just generally less impressive. However, this is not always the case, as we saw in mini Marth, who has a great stat line and a unique weapon. I've seen so many plus 10 Marths, and he's a fantastic unit even if he was the 4-star focus unit. I'm not 100% certain he's going to come back on these specific banners, but if he does, I would assume he would also keep his 4-star focus status. Overall, this is definitely a good addition, and it gives me hope that in the future reruns next year, our 4-star focus units will stay the same. That would be really neat for those that really like those limited time units. Alright, enough rambling, let's talk about some units. In the red group, we have Winter Zephiel and Valentine's Conrad. Zephiel is still a sword armor unit and very min-max with low speed and really high everything else. His Bellringer Plus is an inheritable sword that heals the user in battle for 5 HP every time they make an attack. A pretty rare ability to have and can make tankier units that much more annoying to take down. For the other skills, Zephiel has Vengeful Fighter for guaranteed follow-ups and always a strong armor skill. For a more general purpose, he also has Defense and Res Gap 3, which will grant a plus 5 Defense and Res buff to the ally with the highest Defense plus Res total. This is probably one of the better gap skills since it should pretty much always buff up your main tank. It's a nice global buff you don't need to worry about. Overall, Winter Zephiel is not going to be more threatening than what you'd normally expect from a tanky army unit, and while Bellringer Plus is neat, I can't say I've seen him in action that much. Next we have Valentine's Conrad. He's a sword cavalier who is pretty similar to his lance version stat-wise. Like Zephiel, Conrad sacrifices his speed stat for points and everything else, and he's got a good amount of defense and resistance for a cavalry unit. His weapon is the Melee Bouquet Plus, which has built-in mini sturdy impact. When initiating, he gets plus 4 attack and defense, and you prevent an enemy follow-up attack. Another neat inheritable sword, it's good if you're afraid of dying on the player phase to faster units. In terms of strategy, it can help set up Wings of Mercy teammates or allow a unit like Conrad to get in some damage and maybe apply debuffs like Attack Smoke. He does come with Brazen Defense and Res 3, which will grant plus 7 defense and res with under 80% HP, and it does work nicely with the Melee Bouquet. As the 4-star focus unit, Conrad does fill that defense and res tank niche for sword cavalry units. He does stand out in his own class type, so you might find him useful, or maybe you just want to pair him up with his masked lance-wielding version of himself. Next in the blue group, we have Winter Nino and dual New Year's Alfonse and Sharena. Nino is going to be a blue mage arm unit, but she is crazy fast with 4-1 base speed. She has some decent attack as well, so she can be an annoying enemy to face. Her weapon, the 10-bit plus, is similar to Zephiel's sword. It heals 5 HP for every attack made. Again, probably a weapon more suited for a tankier unit who wants all the sustain they can get. Nino's got some great skills available to fodder. She has Rally Attack and Res Plus for plus 6 attack and res buffs. She has Attack and Speed Form, which can grant up to plus 7 attack and speed if she is near 3 allies. Bold Fighter is an arm unit staple and allows for follow-ups plus extra special cooldown charges when initiating combat. You also got Armor March to get your armor teams where they need to go. Overall, Winter Nino is definitely a strange army unit, but with Bold Fighter and 4-1 base speed, it's tough to stop her attacks. She will be squishy, but she may just kill you first. Following Nino, we have our first of 2 dual heroes on the banner. Dual Alfonse and Sharena are back, and these 2 are a lot of fun. They're a blue infantry mage with low speed and great attack, defense, and resistance. Another strange mage unit, but it's okay because their imbued coma weapon, accelerates specials, grants plus 5 tall stats, and prevents a follow-up attack if their special is pre-charged. This is perfect because their dual skill grants all infantry allies nearby with -2 special cooldown. This allows Alfonse to pre-charge Open the Future, which is a bonfire plus noontime special, and that means Imbued Coma is activated. It gets better though because after combat, Special Spiral recharges Open the Future again, and with Close Counter, Alfonse can fight off any enemy. With Defense and Res Oath, he can get another +5 Defense and Res buff, and it just requires being next to any ally. All he really needs is quick riposte, and you have one fun blue mage. Besides having great skills to fodder in Close Counter, Special Spiral, and Defense and Res Oath, I can't say enough good things about duo Alfonse and Sharena. Their dual skill is so powerful, and I use it in 8th Raise to charge up my Lethethia's AoE special. They have great utility for infantry teams, and they are quite strong in a fight too. Personally, I see myself using them for a long time to come. Moving on to green, we have Winter Sothis and New Year's Lethe. Sothis is a green armored dragon, and like Nino, she is stupid fast. 41 base speed plus just an absurd amount of every other stat too. Winter Sothis has the highest BST in the entire game, and her Snow's Graze weapon just adds +5 to all stats if she's above 50% HP. Just from stats alone, Sothis is intimidating, and she also nullifies her dragon weakness. She comes with Distant Counter and Special Fighter, which allows her to tank a hit, then counter back with her serious special immediately. Her last skill, Threat Attack and Res 3, applies a -5 attack and Res debuff to enemies within 2 spaces, and if it lands, Sothis also gets +5 attack and Res for the turn. The tier 3 threatens are really strong on armor units. Overall, just in a pure 1v1 fight, Winter Sothis is scary, but a decent armor slayer will take her down fast. Much like Nino, she may not be super tanky like a normal arm unit, but her damage output can be quite high. With Distant Counter, she's prime fodder, and perfect for any DC plus Special Fighter armor units. Next we have New Year's Lethe. She's a green beast cavalry unit and is very fast with decent attack. Her Guardian Fang comes with the infamous Close Call and Repel ability, which grants up to 40% damage reduction. On top of that, it also grants up to +7 true damage if Lethe has 10 or more speed than her enemy. Guardian Fang is such a ridiculous weapon. It comes with 2 of the best speed-based effects on a 3 movement cavalier, and remember, when transformed, Lethe also reduces attack and defense and prevents a follow-up when she initiates. Possibly one of the best melee cavalier initiators, and her 2 inheritable skills only make her better. Attack and speed solo grants +6 attack and speed when alone, and low speed and defense gets rid of any speed and defense field buffs on the enemy while providing a small debuff. Just an incredible base kit, and definitely a scary offensive unit. Lethe is super unique among cavalry units, and pretty much anyone with close call repel effects are worth watching out for. Last, we have the Colorless group with dual Marth and Elice, plus we have New Year's Selkie. 2 dual heroes on 1 banner is pretty wild. For dual Marth, he is a colorless armored archer, and like his fellow winter units, he's also very fast with 41 base speed. He looks more like an infantry unit with those stats. Marth's bow, the Tangrissner, requires a field buff or movement buff to be on him, but it will grant +3 to all stats, plus special cooldown charge +1 for each of Marth's own attacks. That's a pretty neat weapon, and works nicely with their dual skill. When activated, Marth grants +3 to all stats and the bonus doubler status to all armored and flying allies within 3 rows. Not only will he be ready to activate Tangrissner, but bonus doubler just piles on the stat buffs, and this Marth still has his Fire Emblem special, which can buff his whole team. Now, Marth's rarest skill is Daring Fighter, which is essentially better desperation combined with half a no follow-up. You can't stop Marth's follow-ups with a skill, and since Tangrissner grants extra special cooldown, Marth can't hit twice thanks to his desperation effect while also charging and proccing Fire Emblem on his second attack. It's a pretty deadly combo. Dual Marth would really love Armor March to move around more. Now, to further increase his speed stat, he has Attack and Speed Form, as well as Joint Hone Speed, which is a great self-buffing skill. Overall, dual Marth has some great potential, but does require some work to make the most of his kit. He needs to drop into low HP ranges to activate Daring Fighter, but his defense res are much lower than a typical armor unit. Any armor affecting this weapon will take him down easily. He can provide bonus doubler as a status to his whole team, which is neat, but you are limited to armored and flying units. Marth can definitely pack a punch, but I'm not sure if it's worth the hassle versus a Brave Bow plus Bow Fighter armored archer. Last on today's list is New Year's Selkie. She's a colorless beast cavalier, first and only of her kind. Selkie has some weird stats with high speed, low HP and defense, with a very high resistance. She will be a mainly magic damage specialist. Now, Selkie's new Fox Kit Fang weapon is similar to Lethe's, but it grants accelerated specials versus a flat speed boost. It has the same true damage and close call effect like Lethe's weapon, but instead of comparing speed stats, it compares res stats. This is very unique, and Selkie's 40 base resistance is extremely high already. To pair with this, Selkie has Distant Ward, which lets her counter against mages and healers, plus she gets +5 attack and res during combat. Essentially, Selkie is supposed to eat mages alive with extra damage and damage reduction from her weapon. She has odd res wave for self buffs, and her icebergs will be accelerated, so you have to be careful of those. Her last skill is Sabotage Speed, which debuffs grouped up enemy speed stats. Definitely an interesting unit, and the only holder of Distant Ward if you want to give it a whirl. As always, the Double Special Heroes banner precedents some spicy banners to come, and this is definitely true for June and July. For those not familiar, in FE we have always had back-to-back summer themed banners, and from the schedule this year, it seems no different. On June 18th, we're probably going to get our first summer banner, and then on July 8th, the next one arrives. In between those, we also have this month's legendary banner. If you want to give it a week, the Double Special Heroes banner will overlap with the banner on the 18th, so you can find out who is available before you start spending orbs. You won't be able to do the same for the legendary banners, sadly. This is a heavy orb spending season, so do be wary of our new banners. We are getting 2 Tempest Trials kinda close together, so that should help a little if you're stockpiling. That's all I got for today. If you are summoning, good luck, and I'll see you guys next time.